On February 21st, 1997, a man named Mel Water called into the Coast to Coast AM radio show with quite a bizarre story. The radio show, hosted by Art Bell, has experienced a lot of weird moments as the show is focused mainly toward conspiracy theories, the supernatural, and more. Mel Waters was no exception to this. His first two calls, taking place on the 21st and 24th of February in 1997, sparked the creation of an urban legend. He claimed that in the small town of Manastash Ridge, Washington, lived a 9-foot-wide bottomless pit. For decades, residents from Manastash Ridge and surrounding reportedly knew about the hole and always kept it to themselves. It had been known to locals for generations, and even Native Americans who lived on the land before them.
All right, when did you discover this hole?
Well, the hole has always been there. We've been out there for a couple of years now, and the hole has been there since we've been there. It's been there since the previous owner was there, and the previous owner there was quite elderly, and I'd say he was there for a good 30, 40 years before we moved in.
Wow.
Apparently, it was a dumping ground for many of the people's unwanted property, from broken refrigerators to old tires and worse. Mel claimed that he had bought the property with his wife in 1933 and discovered the hole sometime after. Rather than using it as a garbage bin, Mel became intrigued with the hole and began his quest to discover its mysteries. According to Mel, using a small weight and a lot of fishing line, he had determined that the hole had been almost 15 miles deep. He claimed that throughout the many years of living on the property, he would add fishing line down the hole as often as he could and reach his acclaimed 15 miles. Which, if this were true, it would be the deepest hole on Earth known to man, as the current deepest hole is the Kola Super Deep Borehole in Russia that's only 7 miles deep. However, that is not where the story ends.
Yeah, this could be an apocryphal story, but one guy claims that he threw his departed canine down into the hole.
Oh, really?
And the story is the guy that did it swears the dog actually came back to him. And he was
really?
As you heard, a local told Mel that he had seen his dog alive and running through a nearby forest after apparently dropping the dog into the hole, knowing it was deceased. After being asked if he was sure it was his, he stood by his word, saying that the dog even had the same collar on. Does that mean this hole has some supernatural features to it? In Mel's following calls in 2000 and 2 more in 2002, he revealed that after going public with the information on the hole, things began to go awry. Apparently, in the months following his first 2 calls in 1997, government agents tried seizing the part of his land that possessed the pit. According to Water's story, he was walking to the hole on his property when 2 men dressed in black stopped him. They claimed to be working with the government and said a plane had crashed on his property and he wasn't allowed any further. This upset and confused Mel. Why couldn't he be allowed on his own property? He also never even heard a plane crash and knew for certain that he would if that were to ever happen. After talking about this on the show, many speculated it to be some sort of cover-up by the United States government. Being understandably frustrated, Mel attempted to access his property where he was promptly told that if he continued, he would be arrested and falsely accused of concealing a meth lab on his property. This is completely defamatory and raised even more questions to him and made him further question the proper authority of the assumed government figures. As it turns out, military officers in the area completely denied the accusation. Ken Cooper, a spokesman for the Army's Yakima Training Center, dismissed the entire incident by saying, "What I understand is, this Ellensburg guy said he had some property on Manastash Ridge. He is going up there to visit it and was stopped by soldiers. The Army's not hiding an aviation accident, nor an 80,000-foot deep pit. We're just training, just like we always do." This may be true, but it also might not be. It's very possible these are just orders being told from a higher authority. Assuming that Cooper and his assailants are classic black ops, or similarly in cahoots with Men in Black, or the same government agents from earlier. Shortly thereafter, an opportunity arrived at his doorstep. Waters was given the opportunity to lease his property to the government on a few conditions. The property would be completely theirs, he would receive $250,000 monthly, and he was required to move out of the United States immediately. Waters accepted the offer as his marriage had been in some hot water and decided it would be best for him to leave. Being a lover of nature, he decided to move to Australia, but ended up returning due to being homesick in December of 2000. Given that he returned, his leasing fees were cut off, meaning he didn't get paid anymore. He also claimed to have witnessed a dispute between an officer and a civilian, recalling it as the last thing he's remembered for 2 weeks, to which he arose in San Francisco, claiming to have blacked out and not remember anything, sending most believers and other conspiracy theorists into a dizzy haze. And that's basically where the story ends. Many have gone out in search of the infamous hole, but still nothing has been found. It should be noted that no person has ever been listed to have resided in that area, nor has any credible evidence been found to prove the hole exists. However, many claim this is because the government covered up Mel's hole. To conclude, it is still unclear 20 years later if this man's claims are true. Now, many of his accusations are grounded in fact, but many use this absurdity as more of a selling point. If Mel were telling the truth, then why wouldn't the government try to cover him up? And why wouldn't he want to capitalize on his mysterious findings? Well, hopefully in the years coming forward, Mel or someone else will come forward with the truth surrounding this mysterious pit. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.